It's time for the federal government and Prime Minister Mark Carney to stop leading from behind when it comes to the ongoing trade dispute with the United States. For too long, Ottawa has allowed premiers to freelance when it comes to dealing with the Trump administration. The Trump administration's threatened tariffs, and then eventually the Trump administration's very real tariffs that were imposed on Canada. From the beginning, we had Alberta Premier Danielle Smith going to Mar-a-Lago. We had Ontario Premier Doug Ford threaten to cut off energy to northern U.S. states. And now all of this has culminated in Ontario Premier Doug Ford's $75 million ad buy of a Ronald Reagan clip that was spliced talking about the virtues of free trade, which so angered U.S. President Donald Trump that he has threatened, and he says he will, increase tariffs on Canada by an additional 10%. That means the baseline tariffs on goods that are not covered by the Canada, United States, Mexico Free Trade Agreement is going to increase from 35% to 45%, one of the highest and most punishing in the world. This is the result of Ottawa allowing the provinces to freelance. We should not be having premiers with ad buys in the United States trying to convince Americans or certain American Republicans to switch allegiances. We need to be speaking as a nation with one voice. And when it comes to speaking with a nation with one voice, it's time for Prime Minister Mark Carney to prioritize relations with the United States. Mark Carney has been to Europe 3 times as much as he has been to the United States and Washington since he became Prime Minister more than 6 months ago. That is not a good thing. We have 75% of our exports or more going to the United States right now. We cannot afford to lose this crucial relationship or lose sight of this crucial relationship. Yes, there needs to be trade diversification, but that will not happen overnight. And so Mark Carney's continuing talks about the relationship with the United States being over as it was, the era of integration being over, that's a mistake. He needs to be working with the Trump administration, not talking about ripping up the relationship and helping Donald Trump rip up the relationship. Because what we need to be doing right now is figuring out why the United States is not signing on to a deal with Canada, whereas the United States has signed on to a deal with many other countries. There are things blocking a deal like supply management that Canada needs to deal with so that we can get to a deal with the Trump administration and lower the baseline tariff. Canada, the United States' #1 trading partner bilaterally, should not be having one of the highest tariff rates in the world when it comes to dealing with trade and the United States, but that is the sad reality we face today in Canada. So it's time for Mark Carney to be clear. No more freelancing from the premiers. Canada needs to speak with one voice, and that voice should come from Ottawa. And Prime Minister Mark Carney needs to stop talking about a relationship being over. He needs to stop jetting around Europe, and he needs to figure out how we right this relationship with the Trump administration, get a deal, and get Canada to a better place.